I have not seen Phase 3 preview Season of Discovery. I have not seen any of this, and I don't know how it took me 3 days to watch this. Like I get on YouTube literally every day. I'm one of those people who are embedded into TikTok, and half of my views, half of what I see on TikTok is World of Warcraft. So I don't know how I've missed this. I mean, I didn't play yesterday. I played the day before because I streamed. Uh, but yeah, even whenever I launched into World of Warcraft's Battle.net, I didn't see this. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play and see what this update is all about. And it's funny because like I'm not even level 35 yet, or I'm not even level 40. I'm level 35, but I just got distracted with the Plunder Storm. So maybe this will get me back into streaming SOD and getting caught up as fucking fast as I can. Anyways, I'm gonna hit the play button. I'm gonna chime in whenever I feel is necessary, and I'm gonna enjoy. I hope y'all enjoy as well. All right, play.
Hi everyone, I'm Clay Stone,
There also may
Associate
be
Production
ads.
Director of WoW Classic. Welcome to our Season of Discovery Phase 3 preview.
Okay.
As our team has shared in the past, we
I
have
know
been
I'm late,
blown
but this is
away
still new
by
to
the
me.
reception to Season of Discovery, and we're so excited to share this sneak peek at what's ahead with you.
It's already
So with
coming
that,
up.
let's take a look at what we'll be covering today.
It's
We'll
already
kick things
happening.
off with raid information. Then,
Okay.
a preview of rune abilities.
So I
followed
haven't
by our
dug
PvP
any of
updates,
the raids so
changes
far,
and
so
additions
hopefully we
being
will
made
get
to world
some
events,
good stuff that'll make me
a
want to
look
play
at
my
what's
tank
coming to
lock again.
professions, and close it out with a very important
Ruins, of
system
course,
update.
PvP updates.
And
It's always
more,
fun.
which you're definitely going to want to stick around
Always
for.
about that
All right,
PvP.
so just like last time, some disclaimers. We're going to put the build up on PTR soon to check our era and hardcore realms. But like all the other phases, Phase 3 of Season of Discovery
Okay.
will not have a PTR for player testing. Still,
Nice.
there will be some data mining that occurs in advance of the launch. But as we've been saying since the beginning of Season of Discovery, not everything data mined will actually be in the phase or future phases. So speculators
That's good to note
beware.
out.
And conversely, there's
Y'all
more
data
to
miners
discover in this
beware.
upcoming phase
It might
and
not be
beyond
in-game.
than we're going to talk about ahead of time. And we want your feedback. Everything we
Switch it
do
down a little
across
bit.
Classic continues to be a journey that is co-written by you, the players. And we can't wait
Where's
to hear
my
your thoughts
paycheck?
on all of it. All right.
If it's co-written
So I'm
by
sure
us,
it is a
I want my
total
paycheck.
surprise that absolutely no one saw coming that the Temple of Atal Hakar, aka the Sunken
Okay,
Temple, will be our new
okay.
and first
I can get
20-player
behind
level up raid. This raid is
Sunken.
jam-packed
I was
with
trying to say
8
Temple of
bosses,
Batalhakar. I've
tons
never
of
heard
new
it called
items,
that, to be
including
honest.
new
Sunken
item
Temple,
sets,
though.
new
A
and revamped
20-man
epic
raid
drops,
in Sunken
and
Temple?
up-leveled and rebalanced quest rewards. This is also when
That's
the level
so.
50
See, I
class quests
can get
come
behind that
online,
already.
which will
I love
provide a
Sunken
wide array
Temple.
of powerful
I've always
items
died in
for
it.
each
I
class.
always fall to my
Jumping
death.
into a quick preview of a few of the bosses.
But that's
The first
amazing.
boss in this raid is Atalarion, a massive
Atalarion.
berserker troll that acts
Say that
as a
5
bit of a
times fast.
janitor, cleaning up or potentially eating any person or thing that happens to fall down from the atrium above. If the fall
He's
doesn't
a hungry
kill you,
hippo,
this
y'all.
guy definitely will. Next up, we have a
hey.
brand new boss.
Can I tame
the
him?
Festering Rot Slime. This
Sorry.
engorged, gelatinous monster
Wrath of the Lich
inexorably
King joke.
patrols one of the outer rings of the Sunken Temple, consuming any wandering adventurers hapless enough to cross its path.
Cool.
The last boss in this preview is the mighty green dragon, Aranicus. Aranicus has been having a bit of a bad
How about
dream
the other two
past few decades.
floating
And
dragons
that dream is manifesting
that
in
we
our
had to
world
kill?
in a variety
still
of
gonna be
ways,
there?
which Nora will talk
Don't
about
remember
in
their
just a
name.
little bit. For those that make it to his lair, we can't recommend waking this big beast up. But if you do and are able to prevail, a lot of sweet loot will no doubt await you.
All right.
Speaking of loot, here's a quick look.
So, like, we don't recommend you. So, is this like an extra hard boss that we're going to have to do something different to be able to fight him, and do something different to be able to like win against him? That's interesting. That's interesting how he worded it. I'm kind of curious to see what that's going to be all about. I might get my Warlock tank ready for that.
Look at some of the awesome rewards you'll find inside the Sunken Temple. First up, we have a new take on the Drakestone item with a new
Okay.
Shadow Arcane spell damage variant. Next up is a rather unique weapon. Yes, It's an axe gun. Shamans and
What?
paladins have
What?
felt left out.
What? A two-handed axe. Okay, two-handed. Okay. Templars, Explorers, gun axe. Okay, it does. It is labeled as an axe right here. 47 damage a second, 18 strike. Okay, so it's like a warrior weapon. Fire the gun axe at your target, dealing blah 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 damage and additional. That's actually pretty good. I was excited as a hunter for a little bit because I was like, am I gonna get like an axe-looking gun in SOD? That would be amazing.
Out for quite some time when it comes to having ranged weapons, and short of Egan's blaster, there's not much for them. Now, you too can have a gun that you can swing like an axe or shoot like a gun, with a cooldown, of course. Unfortunately
can it be the other way around for us hunters? That would be kind of cool.
Lastly, we have a quick look at our tier tokens. Similar to AQ40, we'll have two different tokens.
They're already bringing up
classes on
AQ40.
each.
Wow.
We really like the token system in Nomergon, but it sometimes felt a bit bad to be rolling against the entire raid whenever one dropped.
Didn't do it.
So now we'll have two different tokens.
I hate Nomergon.
Multiple will drop on each boss that can drop set
Hate's
tokens.
a strong word.
And here's
This
a
is my
quick look
least
at some
favorite
of the epic
dungeon.
rewards. First off, we've got a glow up for the classic Embrace of the Serpent robe for healers. We've also updated the sword Dragon's Call. One cool thing about this weapon is that we've added several brand new glow effects for weapons in this patch. And this is one of the first items to take advantage of having a very fancy, but still quite classic, new glow. And just like in previous raids, we've got several fun items lined up as well. The first item is the Atalai Blood Ceremony, which allows you and a friend or frenemy to play a deadly game where only one survives. This item is great for when you need to decide something.
I got a sacrificial dagger engraved with a chant for an ancient Atali blood ceremony. What does that even mean? I guess he was explaining it.
And a coin flip just won't cut it. The unorthodox hex stick allows you to embrace your inner critter and transform into a disgusting little creepy crawler to dazzle and disgust your friends.
Cool.
These are just a few examples, and there are several cool things coming with this patch. We've intentionally left the best ones for you to discover yourself. Lastly, one bit of feedback we took to heart this patch was that a lot of updated quest rewards for previous level up raids could feel a bit underwhelming. So for Sunken Temple, we've actually gone a step further and helped rebalance and restat many of the existing quest rewards. The first example here is a Vanguard Helm, and you can see we've made it a bit more attractive to the classes that can use it. And Helm of Exile as
5
well.
agility.
Well, not a quest reward.
At level 40.
We've also carried forward some of the work we did updating dungeon drops in the previous phase.
Or would it be level 50?
Revamped
I guess it'd be
even
level
more
50
dungeon
at that
drop
point.
rewards, including
Now
Princess
that
Therodros's
headplay I
scepter.
spoke too soon. There
And
we
with
go.
that, I'll turn it over to Matt to give us a preview of runes and just some of the new abilities you'll get access to.
Hey folks, I'm Matt Everett, Senior Engineer on the Cloud.
All right. So I am excited for ST. I might level up my Warlock tank again. I haven't played him since level 25. I might have got him to level 26 or 27. I don't remember because I haven't touched him since. I really didn't care for for PvE, the first two phases, just because Nomergan and BFD were my two least favorite dungeons. So I didn't do much with my tank other than just SFK runs, which were annoying AF because I was a Warlock and everything in SFK is resisted to everything a Warlock can do. So I fell off the tank wagon really quick, but with ST I might bring that back. That'll be kind of fun. But overall, yeah, I'm excited. New updated gear. I haven't experienced much of PvE in the first place with SOD, let alone PvP, because I'm so far behind. Cool. I saw a cool helm for me, and I saw a cool two-handed axe that I can use. Not the gun axe, the last blue axe they announced just right before. Anyways, so that's cool. I'm optimistic for that. So let's see what they are going to be talking about with these ribbons. Please let me be able to shoot while moving with my bow. Remove that range restriction. I would love that. Oh, you don't know how much I would love that.
Classic team.
Let's go.
I'll go over some of the new runes you might find in Phase 3. Before that, I want to note that we heard your feedback that a lot of runes last phase weren't accessible.
They just heard
until
my
level
feedback
40.
I just gave them right now.
We tried to balance Phase 3, so you'll find more runes
Bro,
for leveling, but you'll still
Nobody
have
care. I
some to
mean,
look forward to at
I guess
50.
a lot of people care about balancing.
Let's look at druids first.
This has been talked about forever. I do not care about balancing in phases 1 through 3, because phase 3 is level 50. Doesn't matter because we're not max level. So everything is going to be imbalanced because we're not at our full potential. So I think that's just something to keep in mind. Of course, it's going to be less fun. Warriors are taking a hit with this season because they are super slow to level and they don't have a lot going for them at higher levels. So that's a prime example of, if you're a warrior, I do understand those frustrations, but that's honestly just part of classic in general. It's part of vanilla. Like you get the most balanced the higher level you get. So if they are balancing at level 50, cool, but it's not one of my 100% concerns. Just throwing that out there. Just my opinion.
Gore gives you a chance to reset some key feral cooldowns and generate some rage. And improved bark skin gives you all the benefits of bark skin without the drawbacks, and you can cast it on your friends.
Cool.
Next up are
Tanky
hunters.
stuff. Yes!
With
Let's
lock
go!
and load, your traps grant you a free shot with no cooldown.
Okay.
This could be a great 1-2
You're
punch,
just showing me
something
one?
like double
The
Chimera
fuck?
shot. Focus fire
Okay, there-
lets your pet build up frenzy, which increases its attack speed. You can activate it to consume your pet's frenzy, boosting your attack speed and
So it
granting
just
your
does
pet
a frenzy?
focus. Next up are mages.
It's only
Deep
2 though. There's
Freeze
got to
is
be
a
more.
powerful 5-second stun on a frozen target. If
Cool.
the target's immune to stuns, it takes significant damage.
Oh,
instead.
that's actually really
Balefire
good.
Bolt lets you live
That
on the
for
edge of risk and
PvP, that's
reward,
dope.
dealing heavy damage but decreasing your spirit. If you reach 0 spirit, you die. And by the way, if you're leveling a new mage,
What
you might
was
find
that?
this rune
Lord,
earlier than
that
you
one-
expect. It takes significant damage instead. Balefire Bolt.
Okay. This is a mage ruin, y'all. A Balefire Bolt. Engrave your bracer. It's a bracer ruin. Unleash a reality-distorting burst of raw magic at your enemy, dealing 350 to 525 spellfire damage. Each time you cast a Balefire Bolt, the damage of your next Balefire Bolt within 30 seconds will be increased by 10%. So the more you use it consistently within 30 seconds, the more damage it's going to do. And your spirit will be decreased by 10% for 30 seconds, both stacking up to 10 times. If your spirit reaches 0, as a consequence, you will immediately die. This spell will be checked against the lower of the target's arcane and fire resistance. Click to okay. I did not expect this. This is like a warlock spell, y'all. This is a warlock spell. I did not expect this coming from a mage. That's amazing. I love that. That's hilarious. I haven't played mages in decades, but that's awesome.
Bolt lets you live on the edge of risk and reward, dealing heavy damage but decreasing your spirit. If you reach 0 spirit, you die. And by the way,
That's
if
so
you're
cool.
leveling a new mage, you might find this rune earlier than you expect.
Oh.
Paladins. Improved Sanctuary makes you even tankier,
Sanctuary.
increasing Sanctuary's damage blocked and damage dealt back to attackers. Wrath lets you crit with Consecration and applies your melee crit chance to your
Cool.
Holy Shock,
And
Holy
increases
Wrath,
damage
and
crit. Okay.
Exorcism spells.
Nothing
Let's look at
crazy.
priests. Pain and Suffering allows your Mind Flay ability to
I like the
refresh
name.
the duration of Shadow Word Pain, while Surge of Light causes your crits to make your
Okay.
next smite or flash heal instant
Okay.
cast. Rogues.
They should have done
Honor
mage
Among
last.
Thieves
I don't
is
know how you're
incredibly
going to top
powerful,
that.
granting you a combo point each time a party member scores a crit.
Oh,
It does have
that's
a short
that's
cooldown, but you'll be
OP.
swimming in combo points with this rune.
I wonder how
Cut to the
that's going to
chase
work in
makes it easier to keep
PvP.
Slice and Dice up by allowing Eviscerate and Envenom to refresh it back to its max duration. Next up are Shamans. When you deal melee damage, Mental Dexterity
so
applies
I'm-
your
it's-
intellect
it-
to your... But you'll be
I wanna
swimming in
talk about that
combo
a little
points
more.
back to its max duration.
All right, Honor Among Thieves. Just think if you're in a group, PvE, PvP, imagine, so like if you're in Sunken Temple in a 20-man raid and you get, okay, they do give some grace there. I missed that last part. But like if you're essentially getting one combo point every second in Sunken Temple or anything, even 5-man related, you are getting an honor point every second. That's pretty cool. It's not as OP as I initially thought until because I didn't read the bottom part. This effect cannot occur more than once every second. I thought it was just gonna be like da 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 da. That would have been amazing. That would have been pretty cool. I mean, it still is great. That is still good. But
Next up are
I wanted to go back to that
When
because
you
that
deal melee damage,
I had to talk
mental
about it.
dexterity applies your intellect to your
Shamans.
attack power.
I hear they're
and
really
then
OP at level
applies
40 right
30%
now.
of your attack power to your spells. Riptide is a fan favorite that instantly heals
Cool.
the target for an initial amount,
I've been
and then
using
heals for a
that
similar
in,
amount over time.
The
When you chain heal a
thunder
target with Riptide active,
plundered
it
storm.
gets
The
consumed
fuck
to
is it
power up
called?
the chain heal. Warlocks.
Here we go.
Pandemic makes damage over time spells even more overwhelming by letting them crit. With this
Ooh.
rune, you can summon the iconic
Okay.
Fell Guards to supplement your stable of demon pets.
Cool.
The Fell Guard is a powerful melee damage dealer capable of both tanking
Is it
and
a
dealing out
time,
serious
or is it
punishment.
like a
He's not the only
replacement
new demon you can summon
for
this phase,
your other
but I'll let
minions?
you discover that on your own. Warriors. With Taste for
Nice.
Blood, your rend damage lets you use Overpower once per 6 seconds. Sword and
Hmm.
Board gives your Devastate and Revenge a chance to reset Shield Slam's cooldown and make it cost no rage. This time, Warriors get a
Okay.
bonus rune. The much requested Gladiator stance
Okay.
lets you live that Sword and Shield Gladiator fantasy. This
Oh, that actually might be kind of cool to read. All right, Gladiator stance. An aggressive stance that increases damage while you are wearing a shield by 10%. It increases block chance by 10%, but reduces armor by 30% and generates rage by 10%. While wearing a shield in Gladiator stance, you may use all abilities that are restricted to other stances. That's kind of cool. So, I mean, you still get the armor reduction, but you get to use all of the abilities that you can't use, say that in another stance. So, that's a pretty big toss-up. I don't know, y'all. What do you guys think? Warrior people out there, is this good? I was thinking about playing a warrior until I heard how poopy they've been, so I decided not to do that. But if you know if this is good or not, let me know. Sounds interesting. I'm intrigued, but I don't know if that's like great.
increases
Sounds
your damage
cool,
when wearing a
for
shield,
sure.
as well as letting you use abilities from other stances at the cost of survivability. This is one we've really been looking forward to bringing to the season, and we can't wait to see what Warriors are able to do with it. I love watching players work together to find all the new runes each phase, and I'm looking forward to this one. Up next, Nora will join us to talk
He
about
likes all of the collaboration that we're doing. It's the Questy app, yo, or the add-on. It's Questy. You're giving us too much credit. I'm sure there are some people who actually don't look this stuff up, like the very minority people who play SOD. But for the most part, you're talking to the 1%. Questy. That's how you do it. And then some Google searches. That's how. Giving us too much credit.
PvP
Thanks, though.
updates.
Hey, thanks, Matt. My name's Nora Valletta, and I'm a lead software engineer on WoW Classic. I'm here to talk about some of the other updates we've got coming in Phase 3, starting with PvP.
PvP! Ruins. So, like, we're moving on to PvP, so I'm going to recap with the ruins. Pretty cool, I guess. The mage sounds like the coolest freaking thing of all. Unfortunately, I still won't have... I forget what that gap of range, that 1 through 8 yards between melee and bow shenanigans that hunters have. We still got Phase 4. We still got Phase 4 to close that gap. Please, let's do it. But overall, yeah. The rogues seemed to have a cool new ruin. Mage had a dope ruin. And possibly Warriors got a pretty cool ruin. Everything else, it seems balanced. All right, let's move on to PvP. I'm kind of excited for this because, like, PvP is... I'm not saying I'm good at PvP, but it's what I appreciate the most in World of Warcraft, just because sometimes it's hard for me to get in a raid because I'm for the most part a solo player, but PvP, I can solo PvP. So, like, yeah, let's see what this is about.
Things we've learned from previous phases is that PvP can be a bit rough when the only thing available is PvE gear that is generally set up with output stats rather
That's
than
what I've noticed.
survivability
I've
stats.
noticed that.
As a result, we're going to be
100%.
introducing
I haven't
a
complained
brand
about it
new
because
level
it's what we
50
got.
PvP set that requires ranks 5 through 7 to equip and earn.
Okay,
This
we're
is
getting
similar to the
PvP
rank
sets.
10 and rank 13 PvP sets in that it's a full 6-piece set with appropriate PvP set bonuses.
Nice.
There will also be a starter set available from a new faction called the Emerald Wardens, but we'll go into more detail on them later on.
Cool.
Here's a quick look
That's
at a few of
that
the new
I
PvP
appreciate
set
that
items.
as somebody who needs
You'll
to get
notice
started
that
with
they
that
are a
stuff.
bit more specialized and focused than the previous level 60 PvP sets were. Each class will have a variety
don't
of sets
show
available to them,
malwares.
such that multiple
You're
different
rude.
specs or roles are covered. We're also making a few adjustments to the Blood Moon event, including adding brand new rewards for level 50.
Level 50
We'll
rewards
also
for
be
Blood
adding a
Moon.
new
Wow, I
currency
still
for
haven't
the
done
level
it yet
50
because I'm not level
rewards,
40. I'm level
Massive
35.
Coins, which you'll earn when killing higher level players in the event. We'll be retiring the blood-stained commendations that are currently available from the Bloodcoin vendor. Any existing commendations that you have will still function after the patch, but don't hold on to them forever. They will expire after 2 weeks. We think it's okay if you're able to bank these now to give you a bit of a leg up on
Existing
PvP
commendations
ranking at
will-
the start of the next phase, but we don't necessarily want you to be able to
Cool.
hoard enough coins to get you all
It's
the
happening
way up
next
to
month,
rank
so I'm not gonna
14
really do
later
that much
on
anyways.
when that rank becomes available. We'll have a new PvP honor consumable token for level 50 as well, purchasable with the new currencies. And
Cool.
how about some gear? Here are a few of the new items
More
available
gear?
via the Blood Moon
Crossbow!
in Phase 3.
Give me a reason to use the
Do note
crossbow,
that the
please.
Headhunter's
Por
Dark
favor.
Spear is a warrior-only weapon. We also realized that ranged hunters may have felt a bit left out last time, so we've gone ahead and given them a
Just in
pretty
general.
strong crossbow option in this round.
Cool. Love
Well,
it.
Phase 3 of Season of Discovery will soon be upon us, and with it
PvP, cool. All welcomed. I do like the fact that they included starter gear. I mean, whether that's used for PvE or PvP, it might help us get out of the gear we've been getting through in Phase 3. Because usually, like, we're 3/4 of the way through Phase 2. And I still have a lot of the same gear that I had going into Phase 2. From level 25 to level 40. Long story short, I'm level 35, and I pretty much have the exact same gear as I had at level 25. So, and that's just because I did actually do a lot of endgame content in Phase 1. Just 'cause I felt like it lasted longer. But giving us starter gear, if we don't close that gap by then, that's actually pretty cool for us to have a quick ramp up to be able to get to where we need to be at level 50. It might balance things a little bit more. Cool. Let's go. Let's continue. World events. This is the next topic. Let's see what she's
comes new
talking
loot,
about.
new opportunities to gain experience, and new adventure. Let's take a quick look at our new PvE world event called Nightmare Incursions. Picture, if you will, the 4
Take
emerald
it.
portals scattered across Azeroth. At this point in history,
Okay.
the Dragons of Nightmare, Terrar, Ysandra, Emerus, and
So
Nathan
something curious right off the bat. Scattered across Azeroth is what she said. That'll be interesting. Just because I know, like, at first it's going to be super dense in population, but after a month, 2 months, 3 months, whenever you start to scatter things, people start to disperse, and it might make events in specific areas a little harder. I'm going to hear her talk more to see what she has to say, but that's my first initial impression. Is I don't think they've really ever done good with scattered events. But let's continue watching. Maybe there's replayability to it.
have not yet arrived to spread their terror. However, as you approach each portal, you can't help but sense hidden danger. Something's not quite right. Those brave enough to enter an emerald portal will be plunged into a realm seeping with corruption and overrun with dragons, treants, and other poor souls driven mad by the corruption. But beware, not all foes are alike. Some enemies
write
can
it?
be defeated by a single seasoned adventurer, while others are perhaps too powerful to be faced alone. Nightmare Incursions offer repeatable PvE content for levels 25 through 50.
Oh, wow.
To check it out,
Wow.
simply enter one of the
25
four
through
emerald
50.
portals located
Dang.
in Duskwood,
Oh, that makes sense. It's gonna be
Ashendale,
scattered across.
Hinterlands, or Feralus. This is a great new opportunity to earn experience.
Okay,
and
so that's a
those
good way
who
to do
choose
it.
to jump in
That's a
and
good
fight
way. So like people, because it's really easy. You can get to like 25 in less than a day now, unless they change that cap bonus, that experience bonus. But that is, I think that might help address my initial concern, possibly, because I was just initially thinking it's going to be for level 50 players. But if it's going to be 25 through 50, that's a little bit of a different story. We'll have a lot more population between different levels. So that's pretty cool, especially depending on how much experience those things are going to give. So that's going to be something to keep in mind. I'm interested. So the past 2 world events have seen pretty PvP related. This one does seem PvE related. But they might show rewards here. I'll keep on playing to find out. But cool. Nice.
The Corruption will have the chance to earn reputation with an all-new faction called the Emerald Wardens. With great danger comes great rewards. The Emerald Wardens will be very grateful
She's
for your
staring
help
right
and
into
will
my
be
soul,
offering
yo.
a selection of choice new items to
Right
sweeten
into
the
my
bill.
eye sockets.
One of the cool things about Nightmare Incursions is that we plan to include some rewards at different player
focusing on what
levels,
she was
as
saying.
there will be content available for players roughly level 20 all the way to 50 across all 4 Nightmare portals. The first example is this Nightmare Siphon Trinket, which could be
Did
really
you say
fun
anything
for
about
low-level
scaling?
boss.
That's something I was
For level 50, we
thinking
have the
of.
Roar
I'll
of
go
the
back and
Dream,
watch it when
a
I'm not
somewhat
streaming
unique
this.
ring that has a sizable spell damage proc on it. Lastly, we also plan to take a page from the Burning Crusade playbook and make a level 50 PvP set available at Honored with the new Emerald Wardens faction.
Cool.
This set isn't as powerful as some of the other PvP item rewards we plan to add this phase, but it's a good stepping stone into the better items later on. With the launch of Phase 3 comes a host of interesting new updates to professions.
Interesting.
Continuing on from the first 2 phases, will be...
Okay, so world event, cool. Again, so far the coolest thing I've seen is Sunken Temple, especially coming from a PvPer. I'm really excited about that, but nothing here to me has sounded bad. It'll be interesting to watch other people's reviews and see how they're taking it. And I might not even watch them because everybody complains about everything these days. So I might not watch other reviews and just have my own opinion on it, to be honest. No offense to anyone out there who complains about these. I think you guys are what help make changes come about. But so far, what I'm seeing is interesting, and I'm not disliking any of it so far. Minus hunters not being able to move and shoot at the same time. Yeah.
Be introducing a new quest chain to give players access to new Nightmare armaments, crafting recipes,
Cool.
as well as some fun things for engineering, enchanting, and alchemy. We've also learned a few lessons from the previous phase of professions, so the cost to access the recipes will be essentially free in terms of raw gold.
I haven't messed with professions at all since phase 1 because I forgot where to level up my freaking professions after expert. I've totally forgot. I thought it was in Arathi Basin, but I think that's actually where I left my character at the last time I logged, and it's not there. They're not there. I thought the bandage person was there. That's the only one I thought was there. I don't know about the rest of it, but I haven't looked it up, which I totally could be doing. But yeah, I'm still sitting at expert with like dozens and dozens of stacks of leather materials just sitting in my bank because I don't know how to level up that shit.
And the cost of the recipes that Ziri offers and Nomergon are going to be decreased as well, in case you want to buy additional recipes for completion or you have an alt that wants to snag the recipes for themselves. We think gold
there she is again.
And are going to explore different ways later on to do that are not so directly on the critical path of gear progression. Here's a quick look at a few of the crafted items you can make this phase. There are many more across various professions and for various specs and roles. As you can see, some of these items offer interesting new on-equip effects which are applied while you're under the influence of the Nightmare. If you prefer to stay Nightmare free, we've got some cool
I like how
new
2 of them
items,
are...
such as
Oh,
the
no, one's
Void
engineering.
Powered Slayer's
2
Van
left.
Braces, which can grant you immunity to fear for 15 seconds. We do plan to allow you to pick up specializations this phase, as well as allow you to level to 300 in each profession. Additionally, we've added a few new surprises here. For example, we are adding a quest to allow you to get additional potion, elixir, and flask procs when crafting those types of consumables. You'll also have to do a little bit of legwork to unlock these things, but the benefits should be well
So you're going to let me craft 2 epic pieces at the same time?
The lion's share of our new toys involving professions specs
Probably
will be
not.
coming after level 60, and we have
After
some
level
very
60.
cool things planned there to allow you to make the most of your professions. Well, that was a lot of updates. I hope I didn't forget anything. Josh, I'm not forgetting anything, am I?
Or not?
Now that you mention it, Nora, there is one small system update you might
course.
have missed.
But
first,
wait,
hi,
there's
I'm Josh
more.
Green, Senior Game Producer on WoW Classic. So there is one small system change coming, and honestly, the update is so minor we almost didn't mention it because we didn't think anyone would really care. But since we're all previewing things, we figured we might as well.
Okay.
So in 115.2 with Phase 3, you may happen upon a dashing dwarf from a faraway land.
He looks
that
really
has
familiar.
One very special talent that he wants to share with you
Purchase
for a small fee, of course.
a dual talent
Actually, to be a
specialization.
little bit more specific, he has 2
What?
sets of special talents to share. Like I said, we were pretty sure this wouldn't be a big deal to most players.
Okay, wait. He's very nonchalantly bringing this up, but I think it's bigger than what he's actually saying it is. So I'm gonna read this. Sorry, y'all. Just skip forward 15 seconds if you don't want to read this. If you don't want to see me read this, and then 5 seconds past, whatever. Ahoy, ahoy, hoy, ahoy, hoy. Hoi, hoi. Sorry. They call me, that's my ADHD. They call me Brightbeard, and I hail from a faraway land to the east. I come seeking to educate those with a deep, proper aptitude and sufficiency, deep pockets, to become truly multi-talented individuals. Multi-talented, y'all. No, literally. I can teach you multiple different talent I can teach you to utilize multiple different talent specializations. I can read, y'all. I promise. I don't know what's happening right now. Want to give it a go? All you need is a sack of 50 gold pieces and to have reached at least level 40 as an adventurer. Okay. Multi-talented. That kind of confuses me because we can already slot multiple talents in different trees as it is. Can we not? I haven't honestly even tried because there's no need. Yeah, you can. I've done it on my warlock as a tank in phase 1. I've done that. So, purchase a dual talent specialization. Is this going to give us the ability to have 2 different talents tabs? I don't know how else to word this. Because there's 3 different talent trees per spec, or per class. So, like, is there going to be 2 of those 3? Does that make sense? Probably not. Anyways, what? I'm more confused about that than anything. How they're very slightly brushing over this, so I doubt they're going to go into detail, and we're going to have to figure it out. But dual talent specialization, 40 gold, shoot. No. 50 gold, I stand corrected. I'm going to focus on my mount first. Oh. Grenbag Brightbeard, what are you giving to us? I'm going to keep on playing it.
Players, we probably should have just left it out of the presentation entirely. So, with that, we're approaching the home stretch, but we've got a tiny bit more to discuss, and we want to take some time to cover a few other miscellaneous topics. Okay, so
can I zoom into that? Controls. Is it window? Aha! Oh, it's not gonna because I'm full screen here. Okay. I'm gonna zoom into that, whether I post this on TikTok or whatever. The Epic WoW Team Horde. I can't really read that. It's kind of fuzzy on my screen, but that's amazing. 11 stamina, 11 intellect, 11 frost resistant. Requires level 70. Equip. I wonder if this, not that this specific item is going to be in the game, but I wonder if this requires level 70 is going to be a teaser saying that we are going to be leveling past 60. And if so, are we going to be seeing a Burning Crusades SOD? I might be way too back in the future, technically. I might be way too back in the past. No, the future's right. I might be thinking way ahead, way too far ahead. I'm going to clip all of that, by the way, because my brain doesn't work half the time. But I might be too far ahead of myself, but this looks like it could be a spoiler of what's to come if Burning Crusades SOD does get announced. Just saying.
As well as a quick look at how things will start to shape up at level 60. So let's jump right into that. So the first topic here is world buffs. As with the previous phases,
all right, world buffs
to allow you to use the previous world
buff
up through the current max level.
Okay.
The new raid, Sunken Temple, will also include a new world buff. We'll also be making some rather powerful consumables available for exchange on a certain NPC using materials found in the Sunken Temple raid. These are spiritually similar to the Zanza elixirs that you could obtain by exchanging
Epic WoW
Gemstones
Team
Silver
hoodie.
Rub. They're quite powerful.
I want that
so
hoodie. Can
definitely
I buy
bring them
that?
with you to the raid when you can. Also, as with previous phases, we did want to clarify that bankable, repeatable turn-in items will not function to allow you to level quickly from 40.
They learned that real quick in the beta.
Aspects of original WoW and things like pre-questing are great, but being able to bank hundreds or even thousands of repeatable quest turn-in items to get multiple levels when the phase begins
stupid.
Is not going to be supported in this or any phase going forward.
Yep.
To be clear, this includes things like Marks of Honor, Wastewander water pouches, and the troll necklaces from the hinterlands. One of the big lessons we've learned in Season of Discovery is how tricky it can be to balance the level up journey and the outdoor world, but to also encourage players to play multiple characters. It's tricky to manage, especially against a seasonal backdrop where the content phases are relatively short by World of Warcraft standards. To help out with this a bit, we introduced a very powerful Discoverer's Delight XP buff at the midpoint of Phase 2. And while that was effective at increasing the 50%
version of Discoveries,
it didn't really help to reduce the fatigue
I don't know what that is.
Came with leveling your first
what is that?
Character. By way of a compromise, in Phase 3, you will earn 50% additional XP from all sources from levels
on top of the 100 experience you already are giving us.
This is just to give a slight nudge right away. It will still be a sizable number of hours to hit 50, but this will help move that along without feeling like you're either just flying through zones or conversely in danger of
I'm happy with the rate of
if
Classic.
Questing is your preferred leveling method. Note that
the
100% buff
I know a lot of people are going to like that.
Will remain in place as well. Overall, we think that these buffs are a decent solution, but they aren't what we consider to be ideal. We're going to carry a lot of what we learned forward if we do something like this again, and maybe look at other adjustments we can make to help smooth the leveling curve in general. Additionally, as with Black Fathom Deeps before, Nomergon will give a sizable amount of XP for each boss kill, so continuing to run that with your guild will be a worthwhile activity when it is available to you. On the same token, we see Nightmare Incursions as a good quick way to get
I figured they were going to do that. That's going to be a good way to level up. Like, why wouldn't it be?
There's a lot of repeatable content that gives experience there. As for the raid release and lockout schedule, we've been thinking a lot about this, and we've decided to shift Sunken Temple to a weekly lockout, and it will be available right at the release of Phase 3, kind of similar to what we did with Nomergon in Phase 2. Players will have 5 full days to hit level 50 if you want to try and get in a raid during that first lockout, and then the raid will work like any other weekly lockout, resetting on Tuesday or your normal regional lockout day. We decided to make this swap for a few reasons. First, we've gotten feedback from players saying they would like to have a bit more consistency with their raid schedule, and with the raid size going up to 20 players in this phase, being able to plan long-term is even more important. We'll also talk about this a little bit more.
That sounds like my boss telling me to do something, but just giving kind of a meaningless reason on why I should be doing it. That's what that is.
We will be sure we are being generous with drops to compensate for this change. That's a good segue to talk about level 60 in-game.
Preview. Wow, they are doing it. They're doing a 60 preview.
A few more details of what you can expect starting with Phase 4. This preview is very, very early and in no way comprehensive, but it's just meant to be
very, very early is what he says. I feel like Season 2 just started like a month ago. So what do you mean very, very early? I might be being sarcastic when I say a month ago, but that's just what it feels like to me as a level 35, a very casual player, perceives the time frame Season 2 has lasted. Like Season 1, I feel like I was as good of a gear as I could get without going in to BFD. But Season 2, I'm not even, like, I'm still behind. I'm 5 levels behind, and this is about to come out. So it's very early. I don't believe it. I believe you know exactly what you're doing, my dude.
A minor sneak peek at some things we have cooking. Again, to stress that much of what you will see here is still very much in development, and some specifics could and likely will change. This is more of a look at our general thought process, rather than the actual set-in-stone plans we have. As we alluded to a few slides ago, we plan to standardize raid lockouts from level 50 and beyond to a weekly reset. This includes things like Zul'Gurub, Ruins of Anchorage, and Onyxia's Lair. We also want to assure with our itemization updates, many of the items, even in early raids, remain relevant for a pretty good long time. Ultimately, this is a very classic approach, and many items you got, even as your pre-raid best in slot, such as the Hand of Justice or the Savage Gladiator chain, remained good for several tiers, and we want to carry this forward. With this in mind, however, we know you will likely want to run several different raids a week, but we want to avoid a situation where logistics gets messy because you have to contend with a large number of irregular, unwieldy
may become unwieldy.
By the time Blackwing Lair is out, for example, there's going to be a large menu of relevant things to do at level 60, and being able to plan and schedule activities on a predictable cadence is going to be very important. Last quick note on this, while Upper Blackrock Spire is technically a 10-player raid, it's never had a lockout, and that will remain true. It's essentially a 10-player dungeon and will remain that way. So go farm those Briarwood reeds. Another very frequently asked question we've received is, what about weapon skill racial bonuses? From the start, we've suggested that you shouldn't need to worry too much about things like orc and human weapon skills long term, and that you should feel good about choosing whatever race you want based on their aesthetics.
Not hard to level
or
them up
other
anyways.
bonuses that race gets apart from weapon
Go
skills.
fight some boars.
Every phase, we get asked for a status update on this, and we just wanted to confirm that yes, the solution is coming at level 60. At level 60, you will be able to discover a method to essentially swap in and out up to 2 weapon skill bonuses for your character. So, for example, if I were a Troll Fury Warrior and I had a mace and a dagger, I could swap my passive bonuses to +5 maces and +5 daggers. Please note that these weapon skill bonuses do not stack with each other or with a certain race's.
I'm just going to wait until they announce more about that. Again, ADHD brain.
Warrior, I already get +5 maces from my racial skill. So instead, I might want to use +5 bows and +5 daggers so that maybe my bow skill had a better chance to hit if I was pulling higher level mobs. Just like your racial skills, however, these passives will stack with any weapon skill you gain from items, such as Obsidian Edge Blade or Maladath Ruined Blade of the Black Flight. These unlockable passives will be available right at level 60, and while there will be a short discovery to unlock them, everyone who wants them will have access to them early on.
Like the Warlock quest to get the tanking gear.
Yes, priests will also be able to unlock other races' unique priest spells as well, such as Devouring Plague and Fear Ward. We don't want to spoil how this will work just yet, but just like weapon skills, we do get asked about this a lot and wanted to confirm that this was also coming and would be available early on at level 60.
Cool.
There will also be discoveries tied to accessing these spells as well. So this is the last big item in our level 60 preview, and we think it's the most impactful, as items are obviously going to be a major focus of the new level 60 endgame. We're essentially totally revamping tier sets to add multiple variants for different specs and roles that each class can fill. We don't necessarily intend to make a full set for every single niche playstyle in every raid tier, as some classes could end up with upwards of 5 to 7 sets every few months.
Is it niche?
But
no, it's niche.
We do want to try and cover a lot of the major
Throw me
roles
off a little
as well as some new playstyles we've added to different classes, so that most unique roles each class has access to get something cool at some point during their level 60 journey. Additionally, we plan to revamp many existing non-set dungeon and raid items at level 60, as well as adding new best in slot or nearly best in slot crafting options at 60. As adding new best in slot.
I've never asked this. I've never asked this. Between the 2 phases that have been out. I don't know if this has been a normal term pre-SOD, just because, again, I am a very casual player. I understood what BIS meant. I'm looking for BIS 6 out of 6. I don't even know if that's the proper term. I don't know. I assumed it meant you had to have good gear. Best in slot. How long has classic SOD been out and people have been referencing BIS? I finally know and understand without a fashion of a doubt what BIS means now. Ugh. I've been playing World of Warcraft since vanilla, not classic, since vanilla. Like 2005, I think. Yeah, like 2005, because I didn't start right away. I was too young. My dad got me into it when I was a wee little lad. Anyways, this is the new, like as you get older, kids come up with new terminologies that just get popular. Like Riz, I think, is one of those things that's going on right now. And I'm still current enough to stay with what that means. But this is what I feel like as like a veteran World of Warcraft player getting behind his times. I had no clue what BIS stood for. I understood the concept. But I told myself I wasn't going to pause anymore because I'm already 47 minutes into this preview. But I had to get that out there. I'm sorry. I'm a very casual player.
Or nearly best in slot crafting options.
Best in slot.
We think there's a lot of fun and interesting things we can do with the level 60 professions and profession specialization crafts, and we plan to expand on those to keep crafting more relevant for a longer period of time. Lastly, swapping profession specializations will be easier and more flexible, but will likely have a cost associated with doing so. We're still ironing out the final design for what this will look like, but if you're familiar with how this worked in Burning Crusade, that might be a good starting point to inform how this might
There you go.
Finally, here's a few quick examples of what
Druid, Rogue, Paladin. Yeah, I switched to the reading of that.
So any of the stats or set bonuses could and probably will change. So first off, you'll notice we've got
we're showing you this just because you want to see it, but it's not going to be how it is when the game starts.
That really plays up capabilities such as Exorcism and Holy Shock. Lastly, we have a Boomkin set that really leans into some of the bonuses we've recently added to Moonkin form. Again, these are somewhat early on, rough draft versions of some of these items, but we think being able to make exciting new variations of these iconic item sets is very cool, and it's going to be a defining feature of the level 60 endgame. So with that, we're done with today's presentation. Thank you for bearing with us on this one, as it was a long one.
That's 25. I mean, I turned it into 50 minutes pretty much. But yeah, thank you. Cool. I'm excited. I think there was a lot of cool announcements. Sunken Temple, again, that's actually one of my more liked. It's one of my favorite classic dungeons. So they're making that a raid. I'm really excited for that. Again, it might make me get back on my lock tank so I can have a chance to do that dungeon because there's trillions of hunters running around everywhere. So that'll be cool. I am excited for that. Some of the PvP stuff was cool. Nothing major to me stood out. PvP's PvP. The ruins, there was a couple really cool ruins that I definitely enjoyed. That mage ruin is the coolest. I've never played a mage. I've never mained a mage my entire life. I doubt I ever will, but it might give me an opportunity to test it out and just see how it works because that's pretty cool. The dual talents, that's interesting as well. That's coming up here in April, so that's literally a week and a half away. I don't remember the actual specific date on when they release it, but that's really cool. So yeah, a lot of really good stuff in there. There wasn't anything, I won't mention it again, other than what I've already mentioned in the past, that I didn't really care for. The level 60 stuff, I'm not taking to heart quite yet, just because it's very early. He even said this stuff will probably change. So for those of you that just wanted the sneak peek, and it's not going to be accurate when it comes out, there you go. It's there. So that was really cool. I enjoyed this presentation.